had that dream again. My small business needs to hire, but I don't use LinkedIn, and I hire wrong. So then I'm doing IT, and when I go to plug the servers in, they become sentient, and they won't let us access our network unless we forward their chain emails and memes to more and more and more people, and then I wake up.
Don't let hiring nightmares ruin your dreams. LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant finds and invites best fit candidates to apply, so you can discover talent you may have missed. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/quality. Start hiring today with LinkedIn.
Welcome to No Question About That. We're talking about Olympique Lyonnais 2, Manchester United 2, the Andre Onana show. And with Tom today, how's it going?
Man, we were recording like 5 minutes after final whistle, so I was buzzing 6 minutes ago. I was absolutely buzzing. I was going to come on doing a bat, like Joshua Zirkzee did just after he scored, and I still just did it, but man, completely took the life out of me. But other than that, I'm okay.
Well, victories for the god of narrative today. I mean, it's so predictable, wasn't it? Andre Onana versus Nemanja Matic in the build-up to this game. Andre Onana shooting his mouth off about how much better United are than Lyon. You just shouldn't do that anyway. Like, one, it's disrespectful. Two, you're going to get Schadenfreude. And Nemanja Macic's comeback was just perfect. Just perfect.
It was. And about probably 80% of the United fans are probably agreeing with him, thinking, yeah, he's got a good point. And if you're a goalkeeper who makes so many mistakes, you just be quiet, really. You think, is karma going to get me if I start running my mouth off? And yeah, it does. Like, it just adds completely unnecessary pressure to a already very, very pressurized environment. French fans aren't the most timid lads at the best of times. And there's a clip going around before the game where he kind of came out with his headphones on, almost staring the crowd out, lapping it up. And there was even towards the end of the game at 2-1, he was like staring the crowd out and stuff. You just think, come on, think about it. Like, it's so frustrating because you just knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I've been a big supporter of Onana, I guess, against the grain, really. Like, from the start, he's been dodgy as hell. But I just keep thinking he's going to come. And then this season, the last few months, when it's just been so consistent, so regular. I mean, I can't imagine there's many Onana fans left, to be honest. Especially after tonight as well.
I don't suppose so, yeah. The interesting thing with him is that at the beginning of the season, he had a pretty good first 6 months, save for the occasional mistake or whatever. There weren't too many in the first half of the season or so, and he was putting up great numbers. Like, his expected save versus post-shot expected goal numbers were really high, and all of that, right, one of the highest in Europe. But, I mean, is it since Ruben Amorim joined?
Pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just been making mistake after mistake. There's no one, you can't rely on him. The two today, horrendous error of judgment with the flight of the ball on the first one. It's not as if that many players got in his way either. No, really, just shocking. Didn't judge where the flight of the ball was going. And on the second one, just kick it away. And we were saying before we came on air, it's a really obvious point. Dave would have kicked that one away.
Yeah,
Nemanja's best mate would have booted it away, and United would not have lost this game.
And if you're being very, very kind to Onana, you say, yeah, it wasn't far out. It's coming through bodies, maybe. He's hit it hard. But it's obviously, I'm being really kind. But if it's coming straight at you and you don't think you're going to be able to hold it, which he isn't, he's almost got his hands out like cupped. Like, it's not to like bring it into his body, but just to kind of palm it in front of him. If you're going to do that, like, it could spill anywhere. Like, just kick it away because it's right at your feet. I mean, I've seen like keepers sometimes where they just, I think Fraser Forster did it against United. Remember that time where like he had that shot and he just stood there and kicked it away. Like, you can just do that, and like it would have been so much more effective. De Gea used to do it obviously while diving at the same time, but to just put like you just be so soft-handed with that save, you just ask him for trouble. And the first one we saw it against Galatasaray away last season in the Champions League with Ziyech when they put that cross in and it just spilled through him. Tonight he got to the ball and he just like his coordination was so bad that he like flicked off his fingers and went in. It's just every single time the ball goes near the goal with Onana, you're fearful, like you're worried. It's like back to like Roy Carroll days or like Tim Howard when we had that situation where we didn't really have a great keeper. It's terrifying, and that's just you as a fan. If you're a defender, you're just going to be on tenterhooks all the time. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, he cost us a place in the Champions League last season, for sure, like single-handedly. And he could well cost us a place in this competition too. And between them, that'd be about £150 million worth of revenue.
Agent Onana.
It's just shocking for a player who came in with such a high reputation for playing the ball with his feet. He had a great Champions League final, if we remember, showcasing what he wanted. He was Erik ten Hag's personal pick. United like got rid of a long-serving player who we probably needed to move on from in De Gea, especially in the modern day when there's so much demand for keepers to be good ball players as well. And we've got, instead, 50 odd million pounds later, we've got a player with the yips, like Dave had, a player who doesn't showcase his skills with his feet, almost never, because United just go long and back and long and back. And you just wonder, what was the investment for? I mean, Ten Hag gave us £50 million Andre Onana, £55 million Mason Mount, £95 million Anthony. Like, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Jeez. I mean, look, it's Andre's not the only reason United didn't win tonight. And there was a lot of very casual passing, I thought, and complete... I mean, what's the right word for how we are attacking wise? Because it's completely inept, often. It's lacking confidence. So Hoyland's attempted shot in the first half, good case in point. Garnacho's complete inability to play the right ball. I mean, it's so deeply frustrating. Classic of the genre today was there's a three-man break. It's 3 against 2 for United. Garnacho has 2 passes on, wide to Xerxes, wide right to Xerxes, left to Bruno, delays the pass and plays it behind Bruno. I mean, just for the love of God. I mean, he's a young player. Like, Andre Onana is not a young player. There's really no excuses. He has a level to meet. If he's not going to meet it, United will need to move on from him. Alejandro Garnacho, we're looking for the development path, and he is deeply frustrating everyone because he doesn't seem to be developing, and in many senses, he feels like he's going backwards and in a system that kind of demands intelligent footballers in those forward areas. He's lacking somewhat right now. I hope he can find it again, but he's kind of running out of time because if United need the money this summer, he's one of the very few saleable assets.
Yeah. He's just completely failing to adapt to the system. He looks completely lost in there. I thought, to be honest, like defensively, he worked really, really hard today and put in some really good shifts. I won the ball back in some high areas, like really, really well. And that's really like lovely to see. It's just when he's on the ball, he just looks completely lost. And especially in that inside right channel, he doesn't know where to go. He feels like when we see him on the left, he has that burst of pace to go on the outside a lot of the time because I guess people don't want to show him in on his right. So they can show him out wide on his left. He can burst past the defender. Whereas in this inside right channel, he can't go outside. He just almost, they don't really fear his left foot, which at times can be quite good, but he also doesn't have the confidence to whip in shoot on his left anyway. And he doesn't have that burst at the moment to be able to go on the outside. It rarely happens. He played a nice ball back to Bruno. I think it was in the first half where Bruno had that shot and it was deflected over. That was really nice play. I think he got away from the defender really, really easy there and played a lovely ball back. But like you say, the 3-on-2 was just disastrous because Xerxes had made a really, really good run on the outside of the right to completely drag the defender away. And it must be so frustrating for Bruno when that pass comes in and it's just behind him. I mean, it's massively frustrating for us as well. Yeah. It's just not working for Garnacho at the moment. It's also Hoyland. Oh my goodness me. Like, there was a pass that he played to Garnacho in the first half where he just completely played out of play in their third, completely under no pressure. It's really sad to watch him play at the moment. And you're thinking, obviously, Obi's can't play in the Europa League, but you're thinking, I'd rather have Chido Obi up top right now. And he's not had that much of an opportunity since he did really well in the FA Cup game against Fulham when he came off the bench. He's barely touched the ball, touched the grass since.
Yeah.
But then, but Xerxes did really well in replacement for him. But like Hoyland and Garnacho at the moment, it's almost difficult to win a football match when you've got those two players in the forward forward three.
United are so blunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hoyland's gone backwards. I keep saying this, but I feel like the raw ingredients are there. But every time he puts in a performance like this, you're like, are they still there? Where are they hidden? Can they? I don't know what he needs to do. He needs to go spend 6 months with Oli at Besiktas or something like that, and get his mojo back, doesn't he? And actually someone who wants to spend time with him coaching which runs to make. And when you could see, was it last weekend when Bruno was having a go at him, pointing where he should have gone? Yeah, it was against City, wasn't it? And
yeah, because at that moment he just ran into like 3 defenders and then was complaining to Bruno that he should have passed me the ball. It's like, no.
Yeah, it is really hard with 2 players who are both not in great form and don't seem to understand, don't have the awareness and space around them to cause problems. And so if 2/3 of your attack is blunted, Bruno literally can't do it all on his own. And I mean, the thing with the both of them, but especially Garnacho, is he compares really badly to some of, I am saying he's a young player, give him time, there's development paths. Some players just take longer to grow, and that is just true, right? And it doesn't make the frustration of watching him any less, but it compares badly to, like we've just seen yesterday, this week, Champions League games involving Lamine Yamal, one of the most intelligent forward players on the planet, and he's 17 years old, and Desiree Doué, who is, like, everyone knew was absolutely brilliant 2 years ago. I mean, like, everyone knew it, and I tried to get him, and we didn't offer the package, the right environment, didn't sell it, whatever. He wanted to go to Paris Saint-Germain. He did, but those 2 players were absolutely outstanding this week. And then we've got 2 young forwards who are shitting it every week. And we thought, I guess, there are times when we thought they could be up to that level. This is where, and United are going to have to bet on young players. I've said it before. And especially if we don't make the Champions League, which we're still in this competition, but if we don't make it, young players, raw young players who aren't going to cost too much are really the only path forward. And so we're just going to get even more of this frustration.
Yeah, I think Garnacho, for me, there are mitigating factors with Garnacho because of the struggling to adapt to that new system. He's a young player. He's been playing probably in that outside left. He played obviously through the middle a little bit at the youth team, but on the left a lot at the youth team as well, in a specific system where he didn't have to track back that much, didn't have to think about defensive work, didn't probably have to press that much. So automatically, and then also now he's playing in a different position, in an inside right position, completely alien, or sometimes inside left position, completely alien to what he's really used to. He's having to stand in different areas, receive the ball in different areas. And he's having to think so much more when he's playing this game now. All of our players are having to think so much more because they're not used to the system. There's certain demands that Amorim is expecting compared to what they're used to. And Garnacho is a very instinctive player. Like, that's where most of his great ability and great moments for United has come from those instinctive moments. And now he's having to think so much. It feels like it's a bit frazzling his brain. And I think, to me, like, I'm happy. I feel like there's a lot of mitigation here. He's really young. It's his first season in this type of system. I feel like in the summer, hopefully, if he gets really like Cameron beats it into him and he gets that time in pre-season to really go through it, and then hopefully next season it can be a fresh new start. But the problem is, I think, with Hoyland in comparison, and I know there's going to be similar types of demands from Hoyland in this system, but he's still playing in a striker, as a striker, as a number one striker, as a number 9. The difference is in ability, in what is being asked of Garnacho compared to Hoyland, are monumental. You should be seeing what Hoyland is best at. Like it feels like the system is actually built for his attributes in a lot of ways. Like the way he's a couple of times tonight, he picked up the ball and started to run at the defense, and you think that should be something you're good at. You're big, you're strong, but he's tripping over the ball, or he's getting knocked off it easily, or like he's making a bad touch, or he's making a bad pass, or he's making a bad decision. I mean, like you say, I thought as well that the raw attributes with Hoyland are there. But at the moment, if you'd never seen Hoyland play before, you'd be like, what raw attributes? Yeah. Even the shot was just terrible. Like there's nothing coming from Hoyland right now at all, which is like, oh, that at least was good.
This episode is brought to you in association with NordVPN. For those of you who don't know, VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. It secures your connection, protecting your personal information and online activity, especially on public Wi-Fi. The VPN enables your phone or laptop to switch its virtual location to another country, which is great for accessing your favorite content while you're traveling. Long-time listeners will know that I've spent a good part of the last 20 years on a plane. I've recorded this podcast in places from Tokyo to Old Trafford, New York to the Northern Quarter, and a VPN has been absolutely essential to watching the game while I'm abroad. True story. I once racked up a £1,500 phone bill watching a United game while I was in Shanghai. I was on my work phone and I blamed it on video calls back to the office. The key lesson of this story is not how to scam your employee out of a large phone bill, but that I couldn't have watched the United game without a VPN. It's been a real lifesaver. If you want to try NordVPN for yourself, go to nordvpn.com/NQAT, and our link will also give you 4 extra months on the 2-year plan. It's the best discount available and equivalent to the price of coffee per month. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee, and the link is also in the podcast show notes if you need it. It's a really difficult path forward for him as well. Where's he going to get the confidence back? I mean, he scored the other week, didn't he, against Leicester? I mean, he took about 17 bad touches before he scored. It was a good goal.
The defender didn't come across to defend him, but it was a great finish.
He scored for Denmark against Portugal, and you're just hoping the confidence could do something for him. Came back from the international break, was dropped. Don't know whether that contributed or not, but you just can't see anything. I mean, those raw ingredients we're not seeing anything of. The confidence, there's absolutely nothing there. He's making all the runs, making the wrong decisions, barely ever gets the ball because he's not making those runs into space. Anyway, a lot of the United team looked quite static tonight. It was quite frustrating. You watching them, especially with the high camera at the Vanarama Stadium, whatever, Groupama Stadium, something like that. Yeah. And you could really get a good view of the pitch and the action and just how static United were. But it comes from him as well. And the other side of it, the defensive side of it, I kind of agree that Garnacho has made a lot of progress defending.
Really
and Amorim said it in the press conference the other week. I mean, he prefaced it by saying he was shit at everything, basically. Just listed all the things he was bad at and then said, but he's improving in these areas. And the defensive side is one of those things, and he's working really hard. But United's press from the front struggles because Hoyland has stopped doing it as well. And so you get this totally uncoordinated press where the 3 players who are supposed to be pressing don't go at the same time. They go one after the other, and Lyon could just play around them so easily.
It happened so many times today. And you're thinking, Lyon are fine, they're good, but like they're not PSG. They're not like Barcelona. They're not like some of the teams that we saw absolutely like play teams off the park. They're not even Arsenal. Like some of the teams that we saw in the Champions League over the past couple of nights, Lyon are nowhere near that standard. And the way that they were just able to play like through our really, really half-hearted press, and just there was one moment in the first half where Lyon must have played about 20 passes and almost created a great chance from literally having the ball in their own corner, like corner quadrant. It was just, that is something that just is not improved at all under Amorim, and it's so disappointing. It's so worrying. Yeah. And Amad Diallo was one of the few bright spots in that. He was such a good presser. He got there so quickly, whereas these boys are always like 3 or 4 yards off. It's like they're almost. It's like it's just half-hearted, and you see the best teams like PSG, like last night, the way that they press. They've got the hugely talented players, but they press with such intensity. Whereas boys, I mean, Casemiro is obviously going to be about half a yard off all the time, and Garnacho, they're all half a yard, and it means it's just so easy to play through it. I don't want to get too down about today either, though. Like there is a lot of like we could do better, but you think I would have taken 2-2 before the game, and if we'd have come away with 2-1, because Onana's not had a proper save to make. They have missed some chances. They have missed some good chances tonight. Like Lacazette's chance was huge, and then the Tolisso one where he just put it straight down the neck of Onana. But Onana's not made a big save, and we've had some really good chances. Garnacho really should have scored. Bruno had that one which deflected over, and we've had a couple more where we should have scored. So you'd think if we'd have come away with it, if Onana had held that one at the end, we'd all be talking about how amazing.
Oh, for sure, we'd feel much better.
Yeah. So I don't want to get too down, but it's just there's so much work to do on this team.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard not to, in a sense, because we're talking just after the game was finished. Like, the disappointment of not winning the game when we were 2-1 up with seconds to go. Just manage it, for the love of God.
Yeah.
And don't make any catastrophic errors. Don't roll it back into the striker's path, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's just at both ends of the pitch. Like, the mistakes and the failings are just really obvious, and it's deeply frustrating as a result. But yeah, look, what did United do? They came back from behind. Yeah. Showed some spirit there.
Which we are really good at under Amorim.
Yeah, we, as you say, we didn't give away too many. The passing wasn't super crisp tonight, but we generally got back into good positions. And we conceded 2 goals we shouldn't have conceded, right? So there's that. But for the most part, United have not been giving away stupid goals under Amorim. The structure's right. I mean, they are playing 5 defenders and then 2 sitting in front, which should help somewhat. Mm-hmm. Like, if you don't concede that many goals, you don't lose as many games. Probably if you don't score goals, you don't win many games. And that's United's problem, really. So, yeah, it wasn't the worst performance we've seen under Amorim, for sure. There were some parts about it that were good. As ever, Bruno orchestrating, creating chances. He was the deepest defensive player and the furthest forward attacking player sometimes. Sometimes he wandered into the sort of false 9 position. Sometimes he took it off the back 4, back 3, or the goalkeeper. How he can keep doing this, well, we just hope he can keep doing it till the end of the season. So yeah, not a catastrophe, and some decent parts to it.
Yeah,
it's just like that's a knife edge for the second leg. Now we're not good at Old Trafford. We can't say that the crowd will be nervous. So. And there might not be a good atmosphere because Europa League games have been quite flat. Maybe for a big one, we'll get up for it. I don't know, but it hasn't been bouncing like the Groupama Stadium was tonight.
Yeah.
Overall, it's been more a place where there's a lot of anxiety, and sometimes the crowd's getting on the players' backs, and that doesn't help with the performances and so on and so on. So you come away 2-2. Might not feel like that's great, and there's no away goals, so there's no advantage from scoring the 2 goals other than we're even when we start the next game. So it's way closer than we'd liked it to have been. But then again, it's not like we deserve to win really. I don't think we did enough. Not sure they did either to come away and go, yeah, we were much better than them.
Yeah, it is a fair result, and you hope that Old Trafford will be bouncing, because
Need it to.
the match going fans have had nothing to cheer about all season. So, I mean, I felt like this Europa League campaign, I've been very excited for every single game, because there's nothing else that's going on. Like in a usual season like Europa League, I'd be kind of like, you'd care about it, but you wouldn't really care about it that much. You're thinking, oh yeah, we just need to get into the Champions League through the Premier League, or try and get into the later rounds of the cups, etc. Like Europa League, I remember when we beat Ajax and that under Mourinho, like it didn't feel like that big of a thing. Like even the final was like quite an easy little win, whereas now it's our be all and end all, which is quite sad in a lot of respects. But it's the only thing we've got. It's the only thing that's keeping us going right now, and you're hoping that the match going fans will stick the same. I think a couple of really bright spots, and they were short-lived, but Xerxes and Mainu, I thought that Mainu, great to see him back, and just the little touches he had, him and Xerxes combining
for the goal,
when we've got such little technical ability and quality in the team apart from Bruno, and you see those two come on and combine the way they do, you're like, we actually do have some quality in this team. And obviously in both of their respects, that they're hampered a little bit by their physicality and their lack of speed. But if we can potentially fit some quicker players around them, like that, those two could be hugely quality. And like just the way Xerxes played I think it was for Garnacho's breakaway, the one that he ended up playing a really bad pass. He just played the ball so perfectly first time into Garnacho's path, and you're thinking, this is what Hoyland was doing so badly all game. The redemption arc of Xerxes is so beautiful to see.
Yeah,
he's got. I don't know if he's going to make it at United, but he's got so much about him that you think maybe there is something there. And you are lovely to watch at times as well. And
I just don't know. I know what you mean. Look, his touch he's always been good, right? But over the course of the season, is it a confidence thing? I don't know. It just seems crisper. He's moving the ball better. He links play really well. I was going to say, he's not a goal scorer. It's a fine header tonight. But generally speaking, you just don't expect this guy to score more than 10 goals a season. He's not very quick and doesn't run at players. So that means in this system, you've got to find play for Bruno in the side. So does Xerxes only ever play if Bruno's playing at 8?
Yeah, it feels like that.
If so, he's a much worse number 10, because he doesn't create that many chances either, right? You've got Bruno's created over 500 chances in the Premier League alone since he joined the club, right? So Xerxes is just never going to do that. So he doesn't create chances, he doesn't score, which makes it a really difficult prospect to get him into the side ahead of Bruno. And if he's with Bruno, you've got two players there who aren't really that quick in the forward areas, and no one's running with it at all. And it feels like it's just not a good fit. So if you ask me who's in the team, Bruno or Xerxes, I'm picking Bruno 100 times out of 100, obviously. And so that leaves Xerxes. Like, if I was making a sacrifice for money, I'd still be prepared to sacrifice him, even though, and that is to sell him, not along with a goat and whatever. But it's like,
if it gives us a Premier League, then I'm happy to do that.
Oh yeah, sorry, Josh. I'm sorry, you're a lovely guy, but
depends what we're trading it for.
Yeah, that's it. It's just really difficult to find a place in a successful side for him, even though I think he has done well recently and his form has improved, but also in this side. So if I was sacrificing him for a transfer fee, I'd still take it. At this point, I mean, I know I made the argument that it's really hard to get rid of Hoyland because of the PSR costs. He could probably cover the impairment charge that there would be with the loss of his wages, just about. If you find the right buyer, maybe you could come out of it net even. It'd be a stretch, but United have to move on. Or like, if you can't make it work financially and he's no longer the first choice striker, but a backup, and he can be given a little breathing room to improve or something like that. We don't have to rely on him every week. Maybe that's the option. And of course, a lot of talk about Liam Delap this week, who has, until this season, underperformed his XG every single season as a pro. Now, is it because he's on the right trajectory and growth path and he's improving as a player? Probably. Again, a very young player who you'd be chucking money at and going, now you have to score us goals.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd feel nervous about that one, I tell you. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad player at all. I think he's possibly a very good player, but it would make me extremely nervous. It's such a hard path from here for United to make the right kind of deals to improve this side. Because we can all look at it and go, there's a lot of improving needed, but especially in the two really important parts, scoring goals and stopping goals.
Yeah, because right now we're like the opposite of our 1995 team, where we were kind of that season where we were relying on Cantona to score the goals and Schmeichel to make the saves. Like we're the complete opposite of that. We have a chap in goal who can't save shots sometimes, and then we've got a guy who's up top who can't score goals, and we've got Xerxes, like you say, he would be amazing. I always think this about Xerxes, he would be amazing at five-a-side, really strong, like beautiful quick feet, like crisp at passing. He would be impossible to get the ball off, but because he doesn't have the ability to run very fast and get into the right positions on an 11-a-side pitch, he just feels a bit like worthless unless you kind of build a team around him, a bit like Bologna did. Not that build a team around him, but where you have to find a place for him. The thing is, I've lost my train of thought. I can't remember what we were talking about. What were we talking about?
Xerxes being good at five-a-sides. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see somewhere on social media there's a new Pro 7-a-side tournament happening or something like that. So, they'd be good at that. He'd be good at that. Yeah.
Liam Delap, on Delap. Delap feels like his technical quality worries me, to be honest. Like, he doesn't have that ability, again, like, to properly run with the ball. He feels like he's a little bit like tripping over it. Like, I love his personality. I think it would be great to have that type of personality. He's a bastard, isn't he? Like the way that we even saw against United, like where he's starting on our players and he's leaving one in. Like he's very old school in that, obviously coming kind of from his dad, who was a bit of a no-nonsense midfielder. I love that about him, and that would be great to have that type of personality in the team. But again, like you say, it's the reliance. If there was a player out there, do you know, like when we signed Cavani, and obviously he was on huge wages, but you think he's coming to the end of his career, like he'd be happy to kind of come in and come out of the team. Like you can rely on him to get like 15 goals. You can put his arm around the young players and give them advice, that type of thing. If there was a player out there like that, and you think, oh, maybe it's worth just putting a punt on his wages for a couple of years, like he's almost bound to get a certain amount of goals, a bit like Ibrahimovic did when he came, then you would think that's the perfect signing. But there's no one out there, and there's also no proven striker that I feel like we need a proven striker. Like Delap is such a gamble, and to have 3 unproven strikers in the same team just feels like madness to me. I'd
only do it if it was 1 in, 1 out, or 2 in, 1, 2 out, 2 in sort of thing situation. Yeah.
But there's no proven striker out there. You're looking at Osimhen, but is that going to work out? You're looking at Gyökeres. Is that going to work out? They're risks, and they're going to be massive cost risks. So
Gyökeres is definitely really a bigger risk for me because he hasn't done it in one of the bigger leagues. The risk with Osimhen is had one fantastic season in Napoli. He's having a very good season this year, obviously in Turkey, so it's a step down in terms of quality. He's been quite injury prone, and the fee is large, not as large as it would have been 2 years ago, 75 million euros. What's that, 60 million pounds? I mean, it feels like it'd be hard to get a striker better than him for that number.
Yeah.
But he's on big wages as well. So it would be, the risk is in, he hasn't done it over a whole career. He's had 2 very good seasons in a career, and he was quite injury prone. Not so much this year. And so I don't know whether he's done something to solve that problem, but that has been a problem in the past. I mean, as if we need more players who are crocked when they look at a blade of grass. Like, got enough of those. Thank you very much. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, United might have to bring in 2 strikers if they decide to make a change, because you definitely can't go in with only 1 again. I mean, which is basically all we've got at the moment. Even if you could reel off a whole bunch of names and they'd all come with a risk factor, and the ones that don't would be really expensive.
Yeah.
So it's also got to find goals from around the team because there's no one scoring them. I mean, we got two tonight. Josh Xerxes, good header, good movement, brilliant pass from Bruno. And then the goal from the set piece. Who was it? Manuel Ugarte played it back in, I think, after the poor clearance, and Yoro was quick enough. What I did like with Yoro is no big celebration, just straight running back, get on with it. Come on, we're back in it.
He had a nice little chance in the second half as well, when he went on that little mazy run, and maybe should have done better with the shot, but yeah.
His confidence levels are growing.
Yeah,
sure.
He's really good. I think in general, like defensively, there's no warning signs. I mean, you think right wing back is needed for sure, but Dorgu, I feel, is getting better game by game. There's definitely concerns I had with him regarding like technique at times and his crossing ability, but I feel like that has improved quite a considerable amount in the short time we've seen him. Like, he played a lovely ball back for, I can't remember who exactly it was, in the first half, where he pulled it back, and then he played a great crossover to Garnacho for that great chance. Like, perfectly weighted ball to Garnacho for that. Like, Dorgu's been excellent. The back three, almost whoever alternates in is doing a decent job. I still don't like what Amorim does when he changes the back three, like how much that upsets, like taking out Maguire. Is it a fitness thing when taking out Maguire today, like for Lindelof? Maybe it is, but
I think so, yeah.
I feel like he could probably just get through 15 minutes considering how important it is. And I know, maybe he'll bring an injury, but it just feels just so destabilizing and unsettling to do that.
It is. I mean, it was interesting. He didn't make any changes tonight. For the starting 11, that is. I mean, he made them in-game. I suspect with Harry, it's just protecting that injury. I guess the worrying thing is, what does it say about Matthias de Ligt's fitness? Hopefully it's not a long time. There's not been a lot of clarity on that one. Shaw was back on the bench today.
Yeah.
That's the bonus, because he can certainly play at left side of central defence. I'm sure Shaw will be playing there and not a left wing back. I'm not sure that I keep saying the word sure here, but I don't think that he has the physical capability to play in that role right at the moment. And I wouldn't take the risk either. But yeah, generally speaking, I'm less worried about back three, back five. Right wing back is definitely a priority this summer. Midfield will be a priority because it always is, but also like working out what the balance is. Who are those two? He's played Ugarte and Casemiro for 3 games in a row now. What are they thinking about Casemiro? Because we know in European competitions he seems to be better than domestically, although he had a very good game against City at the weekend. Yeah, I mean, that's helped because City's midfield is almost older than ours and less physical as well. And that's been the trouble with Casemiro. So you may want another one there. So is that 2 central midfielders we're bringing in, and a striker and a right wing back and maybe a goalkeeper and so on. So the challenge for Christian Vivel and Jason Wilcox and others it's a really big one in the summer, and everyone's thinking about it, and it will certainly be helped if we can manage to not blow the second leg of this competition for sure and keep going into the Europa League. Yeah, I was just writing my Substack actually this week, which I hadn't got around to completing yet, but on the financial proposition of United winning, like just how big a difference it is. I mean, last year, winners walked away with 41.5 million in pool money and prize money, and then there's all gate receipts on top of that. So, there's a decent amount of money available in Europa League, and then it's your pool money, which is even massive in the Champions League, like tens of millions just for the group stage, and then £2 million a win. And so the prize on offer is 100 million at least to win this competition, basically, and that's totally transformational in terms of United's finances. In past years, we wouldn't have thought about it like that, of course, but now we have to, sadly.
AI is incredible. It can teach you how to fry an egg and even write a poem. pirate style. Yarr! But it knows nothing about your work. Slackbot is different. It doesn't just know the facts, it knows your schedule. It can turn a brainstorm into a brief, and it doesn't need to be taught. Because Slackbot isn't just another AI, it's AI that knows your work as well as you do. Visit slack.com/meet Slackbot to learn more.
Why does every recipe I try need 18 ingredients, including a jar of something paste I'll never use again, but will sit in my fridge for 9 months? I just want dinner in the oven, fast. That's why I love Blue Apron's new one-pan assemble and bake meals. They send you fresh ingredients that are already chopped. All you do is put it all together and bake. That's it. No chopping, no weird leftovers, just delicious, easy-to-make meals. Get 20% off your first 2 orders with code APRON20. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
I'd be lobbying FIFA to try and get us in that FIFA World Cup to replace Club Lyon, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, we're not part of a multi-club group, are we?
Nah.
Honest.
They put Inter Miami in because they got Messi.
What?
So.
Yeah, well, exactly. They just made up a reason, although they may well win the CONCACAF Cup. That would be the irony
That's
for all
true.
that. Yeah, they're through to the semi-finals, aren't they? But yes, find a reason to find us a place in that spot because it's $150 million on
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
on offer there. Yeah.
Is that just for the qualification? Is that just for being in it? Or is
well, it's like $1 billion that the Saudis have put up, I think, and yeah, so I can't remember. It's like 150 million guaranteed for the winners, something like that. And yeah, but it's tens of millions for participants. Plus, that's just the prize money. Plus, there's huge amounts just for like participation and training fees.
Wow.
Yeah, they're paying per day hundreds and hundreds of thousands.
That is going to completely distort the lower leagues, like the Moroccan league, for example. We had Casablanca or like all the Sun HD from South Korea. Them getting like 50-60 million pound or whatever they're going to get. Like it's going to completely distort that whole league. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem because now FIFA and UEFA are competing with each other. So there'll be pressure on UEFA when the end of this cycle comes about, 3 years' time. The Super League will come up again, and there'll be pressure to change qualification, participation, distribution of money, so it's more skewed towards the top end, of course. And then, that's pretty distorting. I mean, it's distorting for United because we're not in it. And you can look at Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester City, Newcastle, and the additional revenues that 4 or 5 of them will get that United will not get. And there's no magic money tree that's making that up. We can't put owner funding in to make up that gap. And so that is distorting. It's even more distorting for the smaller leagues where there aren't big TV contracts. So for the Dutch league or the Scottish league or the Belgian league, all of these, those teams that are in it, like Celtic make £40 million out of being in the Champions League that Rangers will not. It's probably bigger than Rangers' annual budget, actually. So that's how, it's a real problem. And there's nothing that the football regulator in the UK can do about that, because that's money from the outside.
Yeah, and you think to the Club World Cup and how much that is going to help the teams like City, Chelsea. It's just those two, I think, in it from England, isn't it? Like they've got a complete step ahead just because of this completely made up competition, which has come from nowhere.
Manchester City's PSR headroom is probably over £400 million. I mean, anyway, just because of massive amounts they got last year for winning the Champions League, and they get anyway from the pool and from their sponsors, who all seem to come from one part of the world, and all of that. So they got massive headroom. I mean, outside of the 115 charges case and what might happen with that. Yeah, Chelsea need the money. I mean, their holding company lost £255 million last year, and they only didn't get a PSL breach because they sold the women's team to themselves.
Massively in my face.
I mean, literally to themselves. It's just a different holding company they made up to do it. It's just unbelievable shenanigans there. The Premier League haven't ratified that. I did mention that before, but they really should. They should just take a firm line and go, no. You can't justify this on any level. Yeah, anyway, that's the prize on offer. It's a big one for United if we don't manage to screw up the second leg.
Yeah, and if everything felt so good. Honestly, like I said at the start of the show, I was buzzing to come on this. I was so happy. I was I was in such a good mood, and then Onana just drop it at the feet of Cherky. That's insane.
Game against Newcastle at the weekend.
That was lovely early in the season, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was potentially our worst performance.
It was Eriksen and Casemiro in midfield. That won't happen. I mean, I do worry how many games Casemiro can play in a row. And now with the flight back tonight, they'll arrive early in the morning in Manchester. Very light warm-down training session on Friday, unless they go back tomorrow and do the training session in Lyon, which they have done for previous European games. Small training session on Saturday, game on Sunday. So it's a pretty challenging prospect for United, I'd say, in midfield, where Newcastle are strongest with Tonali, Guimaraes, and whatever combinations they play in there. They're pretty powerful in there.
It feels massively small time, but considering it feels like we're actually kind of like Fulham when they were on that Europa League run all those years ago. Like, considering where we are on the table, just rest everyone. Anyone who's got a knock, anyone who's like 50%, just play Eriksen and I don't know, not Mainoo, but Lindelof in midfield or whatever. Like, if we get battered, we get battered. I really couldn't care less as long as we get through next Thursday. Really couldn't care less. That's how I feel about it anyway. I know it's Newcastle, and it would be lovely to put a spanner in the works of their Champions League run because, I mean, they're one of the teams I just despise so much in the Premier League, and I would love them to not qualify.
To hate them, yeah.
It really is. But also, they're probably competing at City for the 5th Champions League spot, so yeah, lesser of two evils perhaps, but it's all eyes on Thursday, isn't it, really?
It is. I mean, that has to be the priority. I mean, it is £3.5 million per place, so that does mean something, but yes, I mean, the Europa League's a priority. I'm sure Amorim will be thinking about that, and he'll make some change. He won't play an unchanged side for the 3rd game in a row. He'll definitely make some changes. Who they are will be interesting. I mean, after Hoyland's performance tonight, I wouldn't be surprised to see Xerxes back in it. Just someone who provides a bit of control.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get a bit more of a run off the bench. I'd like to see that at least.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Yeah. We had quite a few younger players go out with the squad this time round. Jack Morehouse flew out, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't think this is going to happen, but would you play Bayern at the weekend if you were the manager? Would you give him a shot?
Amorim doesn't seem to be in a headspace to want to make those points with Onana. I mean, he's clearly done it. He dropped Garnacho, he booted out Rashford, so he's clearly able to make big decisions, but he hasn't done that with Onana yet. I mean, it's just kind of like, how bad a performance does it have to be before you get dropped?
Especially after what he did before the game, and maybe they were taken a bit out of context, but you're asking for it in a lot of ways.
Well, it wasn't taken out of context. He said we're much better than them.
Well, that's true.
So, but the interesting thing is, it's funny because normally players are just so careful with what they say, and they've been PR trained to death, and they're just really boring. So this was entertaining, and it was entertaining because Nemanja Matic did the same thing. He didn't just brush it off, and he could have said, "Yeah, that's a bit disrespectful, but we'd rather do our talking on the pitch." He clapped back, and then Onana had to have a go back as well, saying, "At least I had 2 trophies to show for my time at United." I mean, yeah, don't know whether you contributed much to those two, mate.
But if you're Matic, you are doing that because you've seen there's a keeper here who's been vulnerable pretty much since the day he walked in at United, and also he's a goalkeeper. They're already in a vulnerable position anyway. It's quite easy to put pressure on them. You would do that. It's just a wise thing to do. Just put pressure on the guy who's already very vulnerable and nervous at the best of times.
Yeah,
it's just so daft. And
anyway, to come back to your question, it's got to be tempting. I mean, it's not like we haven't seen much of Bayern. I mean, he's had a couple of good games, didn't he?
Arsenal, obviously.
He made a terrible mistake in his first game, and then had a couple of good games. So we haven't seen much. He'll probably leave in the summer. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't want to spend He's not that old, right? He doesn't want to spend his career, it's 4 years on the bench at United. That's kind of pointless. So, yeah, be interesting. It would be making a big statement, because once you do that, you can't really bring Onana back in for the Lyon game unless Bindier makes a terrible mistake. And then you really are in a Howard and Carroll situation where they were swapping the place every week, depending on
early days
who dropped a clang at that time.
Yeah.
Lindegaard, yeah. So, yeah. I don't have too many hopes for this. I mean, Newcastle are on a good run at the moment. They'll see they're on a high from winning the Carabao Cup. They absolutely battered us last time. They are chasing a Champions League place. It really does matter where it doesn't. I think that does take the edge off. Sometimes they've had a full week off, haven't they? They didn't play a midweek game, did they, Newcastle? No. So, and we'll have a day's worth of training, and it won't be much of a session at that. So it's, the prep time is not good. They are set up well to beat us, given their strength in midfield and our lack of strength in midfield, given their good defensive performances generally and our lack of ability to score goals. I'm sure the Gallagate end will be up for it as well, and all of that kind of stuff. Yep. I know.
Horrible.
I mean, I guess, it's the club and the owners have a real problem with Newcastle. Newcastle fans have always had a bit of chip on their shoulder, but they do turn up in their tens of thousands in the freezing bloody cold with their moobs out, shirtless, on the Gallagate end for decades. So you can admire that, right? Proper fan culture.
Yeah, you can. And I heard it's because James Montague's just written a book on Saudi, hasn't he? On Saudi in sport. And he was on the Second Captain podcast the other week, and he'd been speaking to a lot of Newcastle fans about the Saudi ownership and talking in a really empathic way, I think, which has been lost, I think, in a lot of media journalism, which has been quite sneery, condescending, patronising about Newcastle fans, because Newcastle is obviously a one club city, and the way that he spoke about it, which I not really properly consider, is how just it is their life for a lot of people who live there. It's what brings everyone in that city together, the Geordie nation, and it's actually really difficult to imagine what that would be like if a person from Saudi came in, and it's like it has the potential to rip apart the whole community there, and because football is so linked to the culture and society up in that place, you can kind of see why they have just held their nose and not caved in, I guess, to their morals, and you can speak to, is that like a...
I don't think it's holding your nose. I mean, there's a few of them doing that, but 95% of people are going along with it cheerily. Yeah. And I understand that too, because I understand the desire of football fans to have their team winning and be successful after all of these years. So I totally understand that. Yeah. But there's very few. I mean, I guess it's better than the City, right? I don't see any City fans at all pushing back against their owners. And this is in the middle of their...
No one really supports City, though, to be fair.
Well, true. But to make a serious point, about the geopolitics of it, and stop talking about politics, Ed, but, the City's owners, the royal family of the UAE or the Abu Dhabi, are currently funding a civil war in Sudan, right? Mm-hmm. Fact. Pumping billions of dollars, pounds, euros, yen, reals, whatever, right, into that conflict for their own particular sphere of influence issues. And don't look at that. Look at the football team over here. Mm-hmm. Don't look at our abuse and disappearance of political activists in Saudi. Look at the football team over here. I mean, you can go on and on about this, right? It's a different pod, but it's very hard. While I feel and understand why Newcastle fans want success, and I don't particularly want to deny them that more than any other fan. I mean, the fact is they've been taken over by a repressive regime for their own particular geopolitical and soft power reasons, right? That's just the truth. And those that can't acknowledge that, which is the vast majority, are just telling a lie to themselves.
I think that's it as well. There's the empathic side, which you can understand why they don't want it to let like let it rip apart their community. But it's also the fact that you can hold two positions at once. You can still support your football club, but you can, like in the same way as United have done since the dawn of the Glazers in 2005. United fans have been able to hold those two things at the same time. Like, we fucking hate our owners, but we still fucking love United. And that's not been the case at Newcastle. It's been like just welcoming these people in and dressing up as Saudis and having the Saudi flag at the games and buying the away shirt, which looks like the Saudi shirt. Like, there's been this, like you say, there has been so little hold, it has been like, we are fully embracing this because this is going to win its trophies. And that is the part that makes you sick.
A couple of years ago, or 18 months ago, I had John Hurd from the Newcastle United Supporters Against Sports Washing to talk about and I spoke to him a lot outside of the pod as well, just to understand how they were organised and how their activism was organised and what they were trying to do. And he was very bullish. He was like, I think in the end we'll win because we will make this case. And it doesn't look like it. Sorry, no. John, but at all. And in fact, they're embedding themselves even deeper by the Labour Council there in Newcastle is basically in bed with the Saudis. They're looking for the same kind of quote unquote investment that East Manchester had from the Abu Dhabi royal family. And when we say investment, what we really mean is some shopping centres and some luxury apartments that ordinary people can't afford, which is what happened in Manchester and likely will happen in Newcastle as well, especially when they built a new stadium, which looks like it'll probably go ahead in Laziz Park, right, just to the north of the ground. I mean, they're in a magnificent spot there, right? It's right. I don't know where you've ever been, but right, it's like a 5 minute. Yeah. It's like a 5-minute walk from the train station, right in the city centre there, and just a little bit north of that is all this open green space that I'm sure, like looking at the council, they will push through any planning objections. And so that'll happen. So the Saudis will be even more embedded into that club and that community for their own purposes, right? And we saw in the first iteration of the football governance bill a carve out for that, and the Labour Party have kept that, right? So there will be a carve out for geopolitical needs of the UK government. And given the decimated nature of the UK economy at the moment and the public purse, which has been absolutely obliterated. And and you can see a Labour government cutting benefits and as their only, what they perceive as being their only option. They're very much looking for inward investment from other countries and they are not going to push back, right? So anyone who is looking to government as a way of like stopping the distortion in the market from state actors coming in are not going to get any help there. So, yeah. Sad times.
Yeah. So many reasons to hate Newcastle. I mean, it was just easy enough to hate them when they had Alan Shearer up top with his sneery face. And
and he's a bloody cheerleader for this. Not once has he addressed the issues, and pretty much none of the local journalists either. They've all been captured.
None of their other heroes like Anandek.
Dear me, those are your heroes, hey?
Not mine. I said them.
No.
I'm
talking.
Because
off air, you were telling me,
I love
how you love Anandek, and you're hoping for your chance to get into the jungle.
I see. If this pod event, starts popping off, then maybe.
I would eat a bunch of worms or whatever they do for another trophy for United.
Yeah, but you'd have to like sleep with like some UKIPper or something. What they call reform.
How'd you get on it? You have to be a minor celebrity, basically.
Yeah, or a right-wing politician, I think, these days.
I mean, it's the intersection of all content on the internet, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's true. It's quite easy to be one of those as well. You don't really have to be that smart.
You can just fake it pretty easily,
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful stuff. All right. Plug for the Lost Tapes, an episode out today on Roy Keane with an alumni of this show doing the voiceover.
Very special guest.
Very special guest.
Very familiar voice.
Very familiar voice. He has done the final 3 episodes of this season. So Roy Keane this week. We're going to have one on Ollie next week, and the growth from 58 to 68 with a lot of interviews of players who played at the time in the 3rd episode of the second half of the season. Then we will take a step back and think about what season 2 is of Lost Tapes. But anyway, go check that out wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you.
Catch you later, everyone.